Let's talk a little bit about growing up. You grew up in Champion.
I did.
So what was life like for you there? Tell me about your mom and dad, what they did.
Sure. It's probably how I ended up in the swimming pool business. I took a circuitous path, but my father worked for his boyhood friend at Burnett Pools. His name was Harry Burnett. That business has been around for a long time. Actually, Harry was second generation in that business. So my father was the retail manager and also ran the above ground crews and the like, and I tagged along and started sweeping the warehouse there when I was about 10 years old, and worked my way through high school and college working for Burnett Pools. I'm grateful to them. When I graduated college, I went to work for the chemical supplier to Burnett Pools, which was a company called Biolab. Took a sales job with them. They moved me to New England, and the rest of it is sort of history.
Your dad also, I know you told me, worked in the steel mill.
He did. He worked for Copper Weld Steel.
So do you feel that having that kind of blue-collar roots too affected, I guess, your work ethic and how you run your business?
Absolutely. That was a very valuable lesson. My father taught me how to work, taught me how to use my hands, taught me how to use tools. So that was invaluable.
And when you were a boy, did you think that you would be running this type of business? Did you know you wanted to stay in the pool industry, I guess? Because you did start very young in it.
I did. I've been in the pool industry again since I was probably 10 or 12 years old. And as I said, it was a circuitous route. I went to work for the chemical company. About 2 years later, the predecessor company that really became GLI hired me in Connecticut. And I worked my way through that business. Eventually I started as a salesman for that business when I was 22 years old, and along about the time I was 29 or 30, I became president of that company. And here we are today. We sort of worked our way to, again, a circuitous route, but in 1990 I returned back to Warren. We opened our first plant there in 1988. And we've moved about 5 times before we ended up here.
You learned to fly your own plane. You became a pilot. How long ago?
2008.
So what spurred that? Yeah, so what kind of prompted you to do that?
My wife and I and another couple were going out to visit friends in New York. And we were getting searched going through the airport, and I turned to my friend and I said, you're a pilot. Why do we put ourselves through this? Why don't we try to rent a plane sometime when we come out here? You can fly it, and I'll pay for the plane. And he said, it's not that easy. You can't rent planes in Youngstown, and then we'd have to get insurance. And he gave me the 100 reasons you couldn't do it. And I said, fine, then teach me to fly and I'll do it myself. And the next day, when we got back, I took my first flight lesson. We rented a plane, and I never had any aspirations to be a pilot. So that was the start of it, and it's like any hobby probably any hobby that you get into sometimes, that if you knew what you were getting into, if you knew then what you know now, you probably wouldn't have done it, because it's very involved and it's a lot of hard work. But we flew every day for probably a year and a half to get me through all my ratings and the like. But
and do you enjoy it? Do you enjoy flying?
Yeah, I do enjoy it. Some people, they have to fly. They have to get up in the air every week, and it's their freedom and things of that nature. I don't believe I'm one of those people. I'm one that I enjoy the destination, maybe not the trip as much. But it's an interesting hobby.
I know you're a grandfather and about to be a grandfather of twins on the way. What do you hope, I guess, after spending time with you, that they learn from you or take away from you?
Well, I do watch the clock. It's ticking. And so I have an 18-month-old grandson, and my daughter has twins on the way in the next couple of weeks in Connecticut. And I'm thinking I want to teach them to fish, and I want to teach them to golf, and then I'm watching the clock and saying, how old am I going to be, and how old will they be? And we're going to have to rush and get a lot of things done in a big hurry. So what would I like to impart upon them? I'd like to do what my father did for me and my mother did, which was teach me right from wrong.
Thought Leaders is sponsored by Eastern Gateway Community College. With more than 35 programs, Eastern Gateway can help you with your career preparation and transfer plans.